morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're catching this YouTube video. My name is Robin Wilt from Shed Some Light on It. And it's funny because we end up teaching what we have to learn. So for me, confidence is always something that I really struggled with. I had zero self-confidence. I had zero belief in myself to do a lot of things, especially around physical things. I had a lot of physical limitations when I was a kid. I was really sick. So as I get older, I have actually broken out of that quite a bit. So I want to share with you 7 ways that you can cultivate confidence in your life. This one, it might seem a little bit contradictory, but it's actually going to be to develop a new hobby. I started taking ballroom dance lessons a couple years ago. As I grew and as I progressed and as I learned, it showed me where I could find something challenging, but I could still push through it and I could actually become better in a relatively short period of time. Pick something that you love because it's going to make you stick with it. If you don't really like the activity, you're not going to stick with it, and then you're going to beat yourself up for it. Number 2 is one of my favorites. It's fake it till you make it. I encountered this lady a couple years ago when I was really struggling with my confidence levels, and it was like a divinely orchestrated meeting because I just randomly stopped and talked to this lady for like half an hour. And just looking at her, she was like a really odd person, I'm just gonna say it. But she had confidence. Like you could just tell that she really knew who she was. Really embraced it. Like there was no apologies for who she was. So as we were sitting there talking, she shared with me, she's like, you just fake it sometimes. And ever since then, I've really thought about that. So internally, when I find myself like feeling really insecure or feeling less than somebody, I'll just pray the whole time and I'll ask God to like help me to kind of move through it. And then I'll just fake it. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna pretend in this situation where I feel really insecure, where I feel really just not great. I'm just gonna hold my head high and I'm gonna kind of strut my stuff a little bit. Tip number 3 is to do something that you love. So yoga has become near and dear to my heart. And when I'm kind of feeling yucky, number 1, it puts me in my body, which is always good. And it actually helps me because I'm pretty good at yoga. So it helps to remind me, oh, okay, yeah, like I'm good at this thing that back in the day I used to suck at, right? You just feel better afterwards. So it does just kind of give you those endorphins, and it can kind of break you out of depression or anxiety that you might have been in before, which a lot of times can actually cause lack of self-worth or lack of confidence. Number 4 is to walk tall, right? You feel a lot better about yourself when you're standing tall, when your posture's good. There's something about your energy centers that open up. I'm just gonna rub myself. That open up whenever you're standing tall, your shoulders are back, your head is held high. So I'll practice this a lot when I'm walking the dog or when I'm walking by myself. I will just make sure that I'm in my energy, that I am standing tall, that I am just confident, and I'll kind of just talk myself through it sometimes. So I am standing tall, I am confident. It really does work wonders. Number 5 is to use mantras. So as you're doing any of these activities, as you're sitting still, you're just gonna repeat to yourself, I am confident, I am strong. And I realize that for some people, mantras don't work as well, but for somebody like me, they really do, because I can have a lot of negative like self-talk. Just find one that works for you and that you can repeat over and over again to yourself. I've kind of changed different mantras that I've used over the years. For a while, I was feeling a lot of anxiety, so it was just, I was safe, right? Which feeling safe can make you feel confident. So I am safe, I am strong, I can handle anything that life throws my way, whatever you need to tell yourself, right? Because everything that's happened to you thus far, you've survived it. It may not have been the prettiest thing in the world, but you're still here and you're still standing and you're still kicking. So you got it. 6 is crystals. Okay. So crystals have their own unique vibration. Sometimes I just like the feel of them, but crystals have a unique resonance. So they have their own energy imprint. And when we're not feeling great about ourselves, we can actually draw on the energy of inanimate objects. Like you can actually just drop in. When we are feeling unconfident, it's because we're comparing ourselves to others. It can be because we're doubting ourselves. So a lot of times just taking that moment and kind of dropping in and having this object to help to ground us is really going to help to kind of move past that moment, insecurity. Number 7, you're gonna visualize, and a lot of these work well like if you're in a meditative state already, but they don't necessarily have to. Like you can just kind of visualize this whenever, but I believe that it sinks into your brain at a deeper level when you kind of are in that meditative state. So just close your eyes for a second, and you're just gonna visualize yourself in that next stage of like feeling confident, of feeling really proud of yourself. And you can do some tapping on your heart while you're doing it. I think a lot of us were taught when we were younger to not be cocky or to not be full of ourselves. I know I certainly was in a way. But having self-confidence and being self-assured is not the same thing as being cocky or being arrogant, right? Being self-confident means that you know that you're not better or worse than anybody. You just are uniquely who you are. So you're not doing the comparison thing. I had that a lot. Like it was weird because I would either compare myself to somebody and find myself grossly underlacking, or I would compare myself to somebody to make myself feel better. So I would look at somebody and be like, oh, but I don't do that, and I have a better job, and all these things, because I didn't have any self-confidence and I needed that comparison to like make me feel better. So confidence comes from knowing that we're supported by the universe, by God, spirit, call it whatever. It also means knowing that we can handle whatever comes up. So utilize these little tips, and there's tons more. And as you can see, like I kind of like to combine them and utilize, more than one at a time. And just drop in the comment box below and let me know how this worked for you. Love you guys. Bye.